Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 6 a.m. on Saturday in Germany. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California, and Jeff has a little cybersecurity news to kick us off. Over 1 million domains at risk of sitting ducks domain hijacking technique. That's called sitting ducks.
Yep.
Crazy, huh?
Yep. And there, I just put the link into the main thing. So yeah, if you could share.
Yep.
Okay, here's the article from the Hacker News, and it just basically contains an overview of the whole thing. But where I really got my info was here at Infoblocks, and it's this article right here. Goes much more technical detail, but I'm just going to summarize everything for you, and you don't have to share them. If you want to see these, go ahead and look for them. But so the sitting ducks hijacking requires a couple of things, all of which are under your control. Well, for one thing, what's the bad thing about it? It allows someone to hijack a domain, put their own website on there that mimics the original website, and either gather information or feed out malware or whatever. And it's using the original domain's good name to feed this out.
Yeah, I saw that it would like mask itself and play you. And
right. And here's the thing, to all of the internet, it is the real domain. That's the hard part about it. And there's nothing that you can do to protect yourself from one of those domains, because it will look real. It will have the right URL.
Great.
Everything. That's not why I'm talking about it though, because it's essentially a landmine if you hit it, but there's no real defense against it. What I want to talk about is not being part of the problem. Is that because the way these develop is someone gets sloppy shutting down a website. So there's two parts to this. The domain registrar, which is where you get your URL. That's where you register the URL.
Like GoDaddy is.
Like GoDaddy or register.com.
Yeah, there's a bunch
which
of
is
them
a
out there
better
now.
one. Sorry. But and then there's web hosts. That's what actually hosts the code for your website.
Like HostGator, and
yeah,
there's tons of those too.
Now GoDaddy is both a registrar and a host.
Yes.
Not very good at either of them, but there they are. But so a lot of people register their domain with one site, with say GoDaddy or registrar, and then host their site at another one, either HostGator or maybe even a smaller one. It's the smaller ones that have most of the problems with this. Now, what happens is, and everything's great, what your registrar tells the DNSs, which is the internet, essentially the internet.
What is that? Domain name server, right?
Yeah, right. It's the thing that says, okay, you've given me this name. What's the address? What are the four numbers that make
URL
up
is kind of a casual or common
right,
name.
Yeah.
But the address itself is sort of complex.
Right. It's like in your contacts list, you have a name of a person and a phone number. When you're calling them, you're actually calling the phone number, not the name.
Right.
So, but so what happens is you have it registered here. You decide that you want this company to host it. This, the registrar, you edit the record in there, or they'll do it for you. That says, okay, this company, it now controls that. As far as the internet is concerned, this company, this is the location of your website. Now you still have to pay these guys to keep your domain name.
Yep.
But the website is hosted over here. Now, what happens is people decide that, well, they don't want to host their website anymore. let's say they're redesigning it, or they've gone out of business, or things fall through the cracks, and they stop posting it here, but the internet still thinks it's there. You still,
Okay.
as long as you don't get rid of the domain name, the internet still thinks it's here. Now, someone can go through, look for recently unhosted websites, create their own account, and claim that website on the host, which means that then they can put their own stuff here. Now,
Wow.
yeah. Now, and you have no control over it. In fact, it's actually sometimes hard, depending on the host, it's sometimes hard to get control of that back to your registrar.
Wow.
And that's what happens. And so I just wanted to let people know that if you ever drop a website, always put your authority, what they call it the authority, but control of it back to the registrar before you do anything else.
Okay. Otherwise, just sort of dangling out there.
Yes.
Acting like bait for.
Yes. And
for
people
spam,
and bad guys can use it. Yes, bad guys can use it.
Okay.
So
no loose ends.
Yeah. So this is mostly just how to not be part of the problem.
Okay.
Because there's a million of them out there.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that's all.
We got some comments, and I do have a little something before we get going. We've got Janie Becker. Happy August to you as well. Scott, hello. Glad you're here. And Dawn, she says, howdy, folks. Can't wait to learn more about Space Force. Oh. I'm really excited, too, because I learned a whole bunch of stuff as well. And in fact, Dawn texted me before the show tonight and said there's a new data set from the Euclid spacecraft that just dropped into the Galaxy Zoo project. We did do a show on that before, but now it's sort of like all new stuff, and it's back to not quite zero. I think they have 2% when we looked. There are a lot of volunteers, though. So if you'd like to help with the project, check it out. And this is I think they're still identifying galaxies and shapes, and that's basically the original project was
Galaxy Zoo before it became Zooniverse.
Right. These scientists were like, oh my God, we have so many things to classify. And so you can go back and help again. I'm going to go ahead and share that link. It should be clickable in the search as I drop it in for you. And then we'll get on with the show. Yep.
Oh, and quick shout out. Ray and Rob Lyons, happy birthday.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Tonight's topic, Pam will be talking about the United States Space Force.
United States Space Force.
Yep. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Okay, according to Wiki, the United States Space Force is the space service branch of the United States Armed Forces. Along with the Air Force, it is part of the Department of the Air Force, led by the Secretary of the Air Force. Its military heads are the Chief of Space Operations, who is one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Vice Chief of Space Operations. How can regular folk participate in the United States Space Force, Pam?
You'll get it right. So I actually went into this thinking that regular folks could not participate in the United States Space Force. I did find out otherwise. And I'm going to go ahead and start kind of at the beginning and talk to you about what it is and some of the particulars. And then we'll delve into how you can get involved yourself directly, personally, just like we say. Go ahead and share the screen.
Hang on, there it is. There.
So that's not it.
No, we need to add you to the stage. There we go.
There you go. So this is the main site, and you'll see they've got this rotating imagery, which is great. It's a very fancy site, actually. They really have a lot of fancy stuff here, which is kind of fun. A little bit maybe not necessary, but I do like some of the aspects of it. They're going to have their 5th anniversary in December. The Space Force was basically finalized in 2019, December 20th of 2019. And we'll talk about that a little bit more because this thing has a very, very long history. I had no idea. There's a whole bunch of articles here, headlines, lines of effort, field news. I recommend you go to spaceforce.mil to check that out.
Jacqueline Watson. Hi, guys. I'm using my wife's.
It's Jeff. Hey, Cliff.
Hey, Cliff.
I love it. Welcome. We're glad you're here. I thought this was kind of fun. They actually talk about a library almost immediately, and I have a tab open for that too. I meant to run this video, but I haven't done it yet. It looks like they got an event. No, that's a past event. So they have events and so forth. And what's interesting to me is that they have decided that they are called guardians. As in, let's see, it's Guardians of, and I think it's on another tab.
Guardians of the High Frontier.
The High Frontier, that's right. Thank you very much. And Jeff actually knew some things about this, so I'm really looking forward to him helping me out, talk about some of this.
And they use the term guardian to refer to themselves, like the Army refers to themselves as soldiers, the Air Force as airmen.
Marines are Marines.
Yeah, and the Navy is seamen.
Yep.
So
what's the Coast Guard? Do they have a?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So here's this leadership library, and it was kind of a neat article, but I think these all are articles. I didn't delve into this too much because I really want to talk to you about how you can participate. But a little background is a good thing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about how long this has been in the works. So the United States Space Force is a space service branch of the United States. Oh, I guess Jeff read this actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the Vice Chief of Space Operations. So you know that from what Jeff said. It's the smallest of the U.S. Armed Services. There are only 8,600 military personnel. They do operate 77 spacecraft. They have 2 astronauts too, actually, now. So that's pretty cool. I called them this morning, and I talked to Captain Jackie Lockett, and I was telling her about the show and that we're trying to show folks how they can participate. And I think Space Force is great because people are going to go out there. And she goes, "Oh, I really hope so." And I'm sitting here going, "But wait, there were 2 astronauts, and I think one of them has been up there." So anyway. All right, this has been in the works for a very, very long time. They can trace their roots to the beginning of the Cold War, with the first military space program starting in 1945.
Yeah, as long as it's not Guardians of the Universe or Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Galaxy. Yeah, I was wondering about that. And there's some other fun things in here, too, because this has been around a lot longer than things like Star Trek. And when they first came out with their beautiful logo, their emblem here, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's like the Star Trek, communicator, their kind of logo emblem thing." But in fact, Star Trek based theirs off of Space Force. And of course, we didn't have a Space Force in 1961 when it was 61,
63, I think was
when Star Trek came out. So a lot of us have thought, "Oh, well, Star Trek came first." Nope. In fact, Space Force, the United States Space Force idea, and some of the founding information, some of the things they established, what's it going to be like, who's going to be doing it, this kind of stuff. In fact, this General Bernard Shriver was the first person to start working on this and looking at it, and how's it going to be, what's it going to be like. That kind of thing. So, in fact, the armed forces have been involved with space in some way or another since the Vietnam War, right? So, it's been a part of all the major branches for a very long time. This United States Space Force has just pulled all the pieces from the other branches of the military services and put it under one umbrella called the United States Space Force.
And that makes things a little bit more efficient. Some would say a lot more efficient, because it reduces a lot of duplicated effort and a lot of siloing of not sharing information because they don't want to make the let the other guys look better, or that sort of infighting that you get with any kind of bureaucracy.
Kind of too bad.
Yeah, but by putting it all under one roof, then they then they get away from a lot of that.
So the first discussion of a U.S. Space Force occurred under President Dwight Eisenhower's administration in 1958. It was nearly established in 1982 by President Ronald Reagan as part of the Strategic Defense Initiative. Boy, that's a whole crazy story there. The 2001 Space Commission argued for the creation of a Space Corps around 2007, 2011, but due to the September 11 attacks and war on terror, any of those plans were placed on hold. It's been coming back up over and over again. In fact, in 2017, Jim Cooper and Mike Rogers, both representatives, proposed a Space Corps, but it failed in the Senate. So the House passed it, but the Senate did not. And finally, in 2019, the House and Senate resolved their differences to pass the United States Space Force Act. It was signed into law by President Donald Trump, establishing the U.S. Space Force as the first new independent military service since the Army Air Forces were recognized in the U.S. Air Force in 1947. Now, you'll notice with the scroll bar here that this is a very, very long page. I have scanned most of it. If you want to know some more details, I highly recommend you delve into this. There's some really, really good pieces like this part here. The Space Force responsibilities are outlined by this 10 USC, I don't know how you say the little emblem there. Section 9081, originally introduced to the United States Space Force Act. It's organized, trained, and equipped to provide, this is important, provide freedom of operation for the United States in, from, and to space. And that's important. In, from, and to space. Remember those. Conduct space operations and protect the interests of the United States in space. And believe me, it's getting more and more important as time goes on.
I mean, it was originally thought of as a counter to the Soviet Union.
Got it.
And now, quite frankly, China seems to be more of a threat there. So, evolving threats. I mean, even Iran is trying to get into space, but they haven't really succeeded much. So
got it. So the Department of Defense further defines the specific functions of the Space Force to provide freedom of operation for the United States in, from, and to space. There it is again. Provide prompt and sustained space operations, protect the interests of the United States in space, deter aggression in, from, and to space, conduct space operations. It further breaks down its mission into three core functions. Space superiority, that's the in part. Global mission operations, from. Assured space access, that's the to part. So these three encompass these in, from, and to aspects of what they've decided that they are all about. And this is good too. Space superiority defends against space and counter space threats by protecting spacecraft in space or protecting against attacks enabled by adversary spacecraft, requiring that Space Force establish control of the domain. They actually can, they actually have a hand in cyberspace protection as well.
Yeah. And that surprised me. I thought it was Air Force, but.
Oh, got it. Well, I guess they pulled that from the Air Force too. It's got space in the name, so.
Right.
But yeah, they talk about orbital warfare, electromagnetic warfare, and space battle management. And somewhere down further, they do mention cyberspace. And they delve into these different parts, the global mission operation. Yeah, space superiority. Okay, space superiority, global mission operations, assured space access. So they've just broken down those three into, they've just defined them a little bit more greatly. But like I said, this is a very, very long page. I really do like this too. In the long haul, our safety as a nation may depend upon achieving space superiority. Several decades from now, the important battles may not be sea battles or air battles, but space battles. And we should be spending a certain fraction of our national resources to ensure that we do not lag in obtaining space supremacy. Yeah, I think that's really important. I think I'll just go ahead and...
Yeah, and I think it's really important, at least in the short term, to at least maintain getting up there basically until China implodes, because economically it can't really do much. But if they get up there first, they might be able to vandalize the low orbit to the point where we can't get up there.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weird stuff happening with China. Like if they got to the moon and they said, well, we have this tiny little place that's important for research, but we're going to control this much bigger part of the moon because it's to protect the environment for our experiments.
Right.
So that could have a hand in them controlling parts of the moon, whereas they don't actually have those parts of the moon. And certainly they could lob things at us from space. Any of our potential enemies could.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be good. We know for a fact they've been having some issues with like breaking up satellites in the space.
Well, they tested a space weapon that basically blew up a satellite.
Ah, yes.
Now, it was one of their own, so they weren't like attacking someone else. But the trouble is the shrapnel from that basically became a big problem for everyone.
Yep. And when you say vandalize, that's a pretty good way to say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, there is a very, very lot of stuff in here. And I think if this is of interest to you, yeah, delve in. Go down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good quotes too. We are at the dawn of a new era for our nation's armed forces. The establishment of the U.S. Space Force is an historic event and a strategic imperative for our nation. Space has become so important to our way of life, our economy, and our national security that we must be prepared as a nation to protect it from hostile actions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the space industry is a huge, huge part of our basic income, the money that comes into our country.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, just GPS. I mean,
big
a lot of stuff runs on GPS. If someone can like knock out the GPS satellites in, say, even like a 5 to 10 state range, that can be major disruption for
everyone.
Essentially the whole economy, because
for everyone in the world,
travel, shipping goods,
yes,
etc.
Your cell phone depends on it. So we got another comment. It looks like it's from Cliff.
Yeah.
To the moon?
Yeah. Or just space in general. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I want to be back on the moon just to prevent, that kind of nonsense. Because I'm pretty sure our method would be we get on the moon and say, y'all come have fun. Whereas some of the other guys would be get on the moon and this is ours, stay away.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, here it is. The service also chose the title Guardian to represent its personnel, becoming its counterpoint to soldier and airman. The term Guardian has a long history within Air Force Space Command, originally serving as part of its motto, Guardians of the High Frontier. And I'm so glad you remembered that. I was going to remember when I got here. They've adopted this song, Semper Supra. I found it. I wanted to hear it.
It's a bit cringe. The song is a bit cringy.
It for such a brand new thing as the Space Force is, it makes me think of something quite old. Anyway, I'm still debating whether I'm going to play it for you. It's like 45 seconds long, but they have some pretty decent lyrics.
It's
the music.
Basically, think of the Air Force, Wild Blue Yonder song, fairly similar in style.
Yeah, sadly.
And, that was really nifty when it was done. But, if you think about it, if someone were to write that nowadays.
Well, that's the thing. It was written not that long ago.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. But I do. Oh, did we see that? I'm going to pop up back to the top. Hold on. Because I think. Semper Supra. Sorry. Always above. That is the Latin term for always above. And so that kind of fits with the space ferry. All right, so let's pop back down. Sorry. Where were we? Somewhere around here. They talk about the organization, headquarters, who's involved. If you really like that kind of stuff, absolutely. Right? They made a big deal out of the uniforms. They've actually borrowed some from the other services because it's more economic. It's a budget thing. speaking of budget, they did have a pretty good, expansion on their budget. So lots of cool emblems, field command, Space Force elements, direct reporting units. Again, if you really like this kind of stuff, go for it.
Yep. Yeah, lots of minerals and helium-3. Yeah, if they get there first, it'll be locked out. Yeah, especially if they get to the South Pole, which is where we've seen some water ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they even renamed Vandenberg to Vandenberg Space Force Base, which I didn't know until what did we do? We go looking. I think it was when Cliff was in town. We went looking to see how to get on base.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. All right. So, and this was interesting too. There are more bases than I expected. We've got a couple in California, Vandenberg Space Force Base, the Los Angeles Air Force Base, which actually Captain Lockett was saying might become the Los Angeles Space Force Base at some point. And there's a whole bunch is this Colorado?
Yeah.
Buckley, Peterson, Schriever, which is that general's name, Cheyenne Mountain. Oh, is it actually Space Force?
So yeah.
Space Force Station.
Stargate is going to be run by Space Force.
Cavalier. Space Force Station. We've got a couple on the East Coast as well. Cape Cod Space Force Station, New Boston Space Force Station, and Patrick Space. There's two down here. Patrick Space Force Base and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Yep. Now I'm doing it.
Okay, and Dawn says she loves the logos and badges.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can't wait to show you the one I found. It's a couple tabs over. Hang on to your hats.
Yep.
So let's see. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of really great details in here, and as you can see, lots and lots and lots of links. Relationships with the other ones and NASA. Yep, there's our astronauts, our Space Force. First two astronauts, Colonel Michael S. Hopkins and Colonel Nick Hague. The National Reconnaissance Office, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, not one you would expect, but they are involved. Personnel and culture, the symbols. I really, really like, here it is, Space Force service members have the title of Guardians. And here's the Super Semper, always above. It mirrors the motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fidelis, always faithful, and Coast Guard, Semper Paratus, always ready. Yeah, service song. I got a link for 2 things for that. I'm really sad about it. All right, so let's see, what else do we have? Some really nice badges and wing things. There's Colonel Michael. He actually was the first astronaut when he transferred from the U.S. Air Force to the International. Nope, I guess it's the Space Force too. But he went on to the International Space Station on the 18th of December. Oh no, I guess he was up there. 18th of December.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's a year after. Sorry, 20th of December 2019 was when they became officially, finally, the United States Space Force.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but he was up on the International Space Station. So one of their astronauts has flown. So I'd say they're getting there. They talk about these disciplines again: or warfare, space electromagnetic warfare, space battle management, space access and sustainment, military intelligence, engineering and acquisition, cyber operations, knowledge to defend the global networks upon which military space power is vitally dependent. I guess it makes sense because the satellites will do some of that cyber space work too, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. They talk about the rank structure. Look at these. Aren't these cool? So, they talk about the enlisted. And I think there's officers and civilian. And that's where we start to think about how to get involved as a civilian. They're still developing their unique mess dress, service dress, and physical training uniforms. But again, they are using some of the others, mostly because it's a budgetary savings.
Right, and it's better to do the job than to, make yourself pretty. So, yeah, hey.
Yeah. They talk about the awards and decorations, all the things. And all of the services have this.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the spacecraft list. Okay. Is it all 77? Communication satellites, GPS. Well, there's a lot of GPS.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't think I really delved into this too much. I wanted to really find out what it was that.
Oh, and these are ground systems.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool stuff. Space launch vehicles, Atlas V, Electron, Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, Pegasus, which kind of was weird to me, except that it looks like Northrop Grumman has taken over Pegasus. Pegasus was created by Orbital Sciences, which is no more. Orbital Sciences Corporation is no more. And I kind of understand they kept putting rockets into the water. And rockets don't swim.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like Northrop Grumman has taken over the Pegasus, the actual Pegasus launch vehicle.
I didn't see any deltas in there.
Yeah, I don't know why. Thing about Pegasus 2, it's launched from an airplane. Oh, and here's the money. So they started off with $40 million in 2021. They're up to $15.3 billion. 2022, $18.1 billion. 2023, that has been enacted, $26.2 billion, and 2024 so far, unknown. We don't really know yet. So with any luck, all that money is being put to really, really good use. I always can appreciate that. All right, so let's see. Do we have anything else in here I really must tell you about? There is a lot, so if you want to go and do that, have fun. Have at it. Semper Supra, always above. And they talk about where it came from. Okay. Here it is. Like, it's a recent thing. They've recently created this. Let's see. Daniel Sanchez, who researched the mottos of other branches and chose Semper Supra. Okay, that's the name. It's the song. It's the song I'm wigging out on. So here's this. Oh, here. Singer-songwriter James Tichenor, a former member of the United States Air Force Band at the United States Air Force.
Well, that's why it sounds
Academy.
So much like the Air Force song.
Yeah, that makes sense. He composed and the lyrics and composed the melody for Semper Supra. Yeah, see, this is after 2019. It could have had a little bit of an update. I see Daniel has a comment too. Yeah. Hey, Daniel, welcome to the show.
Yeah, is the Space Force involved in Earth impact or asteroid deflection?
Yes. I think I got a tab for that. We'll look for it.
Right. Yeah.
And remind me if I don't.
One of their three areas is protection from space.
Yes.
And so that's part of it.
In space, from space, to space.
Yep.
Those are their big three.
Yep.
All right. So, do I play the song for you? Here are the lyrics. We are the mighty watchful eye, guardians beyond the blue, the invisible front line, war fighters, brave and true.
Play it. Give them the full experience.
Boldly reaching into space, there's no limit to our sky. Standing guard both night and day. We're the Space Force from on high. Copyright. Do they say when it's copyright? They don't say the date. Oh my goodness.
Well, there's a in the down below. There's a number one, so you can jump down below to see the footnote.
This thing.
Yeah.
This thing. Oh, well,
there it is. 22.
See, 2022. Why does it sound like it does then? Okay, in this group, they talked about the model, and that's because I was looking around for a way to actually hear it. It's one of the things I really like hearing. And I forgot to mention this before when we had from Canada. What was the rocket scientist's name? I wanted to hear her voice, so I went and found some video. I wanted to hear the song, and I finally found this to take me to the song. I think this is where I found the link. The meaning and significance of. All right, so here it is. Go ahead and bigify it. 42 seconds. We'll be right back. All right, bring us back.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So, okay, it's growing on me. I really like this article, but I didn't like the ads, so I think I went and downloaded it as a PDF. Yep, here we go. So it's a little bit bigger in the article, but it's a little bit easier on the to look at. What is the Space Force and what does it do? So they have, and this came from was it space.com? Yeah, space.com. They went into this actually not that long ago, February 14th, 2023. Just love that logo. Just love that logo. Established as the sixth and newest branch. And a lot of this we've already kind of heard about. Let's see.
You've already talked about that.
Yeah, we've talked about Super Supra. There's a lot. A lot of the same. Which what? Oh, the song! Like I said, it's grown on me. I really thought this was good, but a lot of it gets repeated, I think, in the first wiki I showed you. History of the United States Space Force. Here's the general. So he was kind of tasked with doing the figuring out stuff. What does it say here? It's I think it's General Henry H. Arnold.
Yeah, who was basically pretty big in World War II.
Got it. Okay, so this has been around for a really, really long time, folks, and this is another really, really long page. But I think there's possibly some more details. But I want to show you some really fun stuff. Oh, Dawn's got a comment. Could have been in 2022.
Yeah, they wrote it in 2022.
That's what kills me. It's like, sounds like it's from the 50s or earlier.
It also sounds a lot like the Navy's song, but it sounds more like the Air Force song.
Yeah. Anyway, so I went into the site itself, and I've got a whole bunch of tabs open for about, careers, capabilities, and how to join. And that's where we'll talk about how regular folk can get involved. So, yeah, there's no such thing as a day without space operations. I mean, just look at your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It knows where you are because of GPS, and that is absolutely involved with space. Secure our nation's interest from and to space, protects our country and the freedom it operates in space, keeping it secure, stable, and accessible for military space power and new waves of innovation. Mm-hmm. When our enemy asks, what if? We will have an answer. We don't really delve into military stuff very much, but it is there. It is one of the things that is around, and basically we enjoy the freedoms that we do because of our strong military. Yeah, Janie's.
Yeah, hi Janie.
Nice lyrics, yes. Loyal and true.
A little dated sounding.
I absolutely agree with you.
Loyal and true, we honor the Space Force. Yeah.
And Cliff
says, yeah.
And maybe that was their intention to.
They might have been trying to give history to something.
Give a nod to it because it has been around for so long. Yeah,
well, the concept has been around, like you said, from 1945. So
yes.
So it's possible that that's what they were trying to do.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think
it's the Space Force.
Yeah, could have been a little bit more.
I'll just think of Star Trek when I do. Daniel's got a comment. Oh. I see it there.
I wonder if the
Nine Nations?
United Nations will have a Space Force. I hope not.
I don't know.
I really hope not. I mean, there isn't anything that they don't manage to foul up. So I really hope.
I'm going to hold off on comments there because I'm going back to the site. And I like how it's very kind of slick in a good way, though. In a good way, though. If only their song could keep up with it. Because they got like these little kind of, some of them are floating around. This is a play this video thing, right? I didn't play. Oh, there it is. That's so you can like jump to the next segment with this little arrow, or you could jump back. Guess there's a video. I didn't catch that, so I'll have to go watch that. The future is where we'll make history. Okay. As space becomes more contested, it's essential we always stay steps ahead. Mm-hmm. And we're coming to the thing I really want to show you. Space now defines our daily lives and the modern way of war. Yeah, GPS, military operations, satellite protection. I mean, really, if you think about it, the Space Force probably supports every other branch, mostly because they have eyes in the sky. They can see things from space to help guide the folks on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, GPS is a really big one. Here's the thing. The Delta, our symbol. Space Force. Yes. First used in 1961, the Delta symbol honors the heritage of the U.S. Air Force and Space Command. Oh, I know it's here somewhere. I think it was in the wiki page how William Shatner actually said, "Nope, we decided to honor the Space Force emblem and use the Star Trek one, sort of similar, not the other way around."
Right, because here it was first used in 1961, which is pre-Star Trek.
Yes. And I didn't even know about this. I mean, I didn't know any of this stuff. Of course, I'm thinking it's, in the past 5 years, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, again, this very slick site. There's a lot of cool stuff like this. Bevels. The 4 bevel elements symbolize the joint armed forces supporting the space mission, Air Force, Army, Navy, and Marines. And look at this, Polaris. In the center of the Delta is Polaris, commonly called the North Star, which embodies the guiding light of security and defending the hopes and dreams of space. The spires. I'm going to go down a little bit. Oh, I guess we could say, okay. Inside the Delta, the 2 spires represent the action of a rocket launching into the outer atmosphere in support of the central role of the Space Force in defending the space domain.
Just made it a little bit bigger.
Oh, good. Thanks. Silver Island. The silver outer border signifies defense from all adversaries and threats within space. The black area inside embodies the vast darkness of deep space. I was scrambling to find this yesterday because I thought, oh my God, I lost it. It was just down the page some from where I was. Guardian values. I'll read the general words first. Character, connection, commitment, and courage. So those are their 4 tenets.
Those are kind of small, so I'll make it bigger again.
Yeah, good. We defend the Constitution and serve our nation. Consequently, high ethical standards are the foundation of our lives. We act with integrity, remain accountable for our decisions, and honor our obligations to our mission, fellow guardians, and the loved ones. So that's the character part. Connection. We're connected by a common purpose, knowing that we're stronger together than we are individually. We treat everyone with empathy and respect and harness different perspectives to fuel innovation. In doing so, we tap into the very best each of us has to offer. Commitment. We are committed to mastering ourselves, our profession, and our domain. Where others see obstacles, we see opportunities to learn and grow as a team. And through making the best use of our teammates' diverse strengths, we will achieve feats considered impossible by our adversaries. Courage. We are steadfast and stand up for what is right, regardless of the circumstances. We are biased towards action and accept risk when necessary. To secure and defend our nation, we act and speak fearlessly, knowing our teammates and leadership are unwavering. And I do like they have a lot of places where you can explore things like this one, learn more. Oh, and I was going to sign up for this. I'm like, oh, I'll do it on the air. So to get Space Force updates in your email, add your email address, your first name, and your last name. Let's see what happens when I click the button. Thanks for submitting. Okay, simple. All right, what's next? Oh, so one of the things I think they mentioned it on this page was here it is, Guardian Values. View the Guardian Handbook here. So I just open it up in a new tab. And it's very short. It's only 13 pages long. I do love the cover, Guardian Spirit Space Force Handbook 1-1. So I'm going to bigify it some because when we get to the text of it, it's a little bit easier to see. And I didn't read this whole thing, but I did skim it a bit by the order of the Secretary of the Air Force. This is from April 3rd, 2023. Corrective Action, March 5th, March 2024. Space Force Culture, Guardian Spirit. So it talks about kind of, I think you could, like when you're talking about a business, you know, this is the culture. This is the way we are, the things that we do. And this is the document that tells them what that is for the United States Space Force.
In a business, you would call it the mission statement.
Well, that's part of it, I think.
Right.
It formalizes the United States Space Force values and supports the institutionalization of those values as expressed in the Guardian Commitment. And we just saw that. So I'm not going to go into this too much because I think if you want to see it, it's pretty easy to get to. I think we've seen some of the principal things before.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's new. Some of it's new.
They picked a lot of the stuff out for the website, which is good.
Yeah. Yep. Good. Semper Supra. Overview. Character, connection, commitment, courage. Character, and they delve into the character. So it's really something that to tell the people that are involved how to act, who to be, what kind of things. The integrity part.
Yeah. And who do we want doing this? I mean, who do we want in charge of making sure rocks don't fall on us or missiles don't fall on us?
Right.
So.
And again, it's not that long, which I think is a good thing. So maybe one day it'll be 500 pages, but today it's 13. And one of those is basically a picture. So, yep. Okay. They just delve into the basic tenets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and move on. Oh, I do like this. This is a nice, I would say it's kind of an infographic about, let's do a page fit. The Guardian Commitment, character, connection, commitment, courage. It's really hard to see that, I know, but let's see if I can get most of it in. So this sort of sums everything up for you if you want to get involved with them. All right, so here's the careers part. And they break that down into 3 segments. And they, just like most, branches of the military, you've got enlisted folks. Oh, nope, that's the next tab over, I guess. All right, so let me talk about this one. Find your role in a powerful team, protecting both Earth and space. All right. Oh, I think this just tells you...
basically, their areas of...
Oh, I see. No, select your skills and strengths so you can move these. See, very slick. Oh, and then the music starts. So if you're strong in engineering, these are some of the things you could be. If you want to be a spy, if you think you're a good leader, if you got logistics chops, technology, or you could just, hey, oh, here you go, Jeff. You create a character from this. But I really like how this is, like I said, it's slick in a good way.
Oh.
There's lots to play with, lots to understand. Yeah.
Daniel says, spaceforce.com, shouldn't it be .gov? Actually, no, because this is a public-facing website and they don't do operations here. So it's not like a government site that has official stuff. This has basically a communications outlet. And yes, it could be .gov, but they might have one that's a .gov. And they probably
it's going to be .mil.
Yeah. Well, they also probably have an internal one that's .mil.
Yeah. No doubt.
But I think .com, it's probably .gov and .com would be my guess, because most people write .com.
Yes.
And it's kind of like when they started doing all of these, like .nets, that sort of thing. And since almost everyone types a .com, those kind of went away mostly. I mean, you only see mostly ISPs using .net anymore, or .org. Almost no one uses .org anymore because no one can find it there because most people type .com. Yeah,
most people type .com first, and then they have to adjust if it's something else, I think. Mm-hmm. All right, so they do have the enlisted, the officers, and civilians. So let's see. Guardians Wanted. We're looking for the brightest minds in aerospace technology and engineering. Explore careers. Filter by specialty. Enlisted, officer, civilian. I've got some pages open. I'll go into that when I'm over there. But yeah, they talk about some of the possibilities for wherever you stand. And again, this is kind of fun. They have lots of things to play with. I mean, that's what I like about the website. There are a lot of things to play with. A day in the life of those who protect everyday life. And it was interesting because is this the place with the video? Yeah, learn more. You can learn more. All kinds of buttons everywhere. Training. Nope, this isn't the place. But they got this one video for the main enlisted officer and civilian, and it's the same video. All right, so they've got military, civilian. You can look at the options for salary, insurance, retirement, recreation, vacation, and travel. I didn't even look at the civilian one. Let's look at that one.
Wasn't that what we're?
Nope, that was military. That was military.
Yeah, no, but that's the one that we're kind of focusing on.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to join the military, but they do have some specifics in regards to like the age for an enlisted person, and we'll see that shortly. Frequently asked questions, early career opportunities, Space Force ranks, spaces. We saw a map of those, and get in touch. You can actually connect with them to become an enlisted person. Capabilities. It's capabilities. Wait, what? Did I do it wrong? How to join. Oh, it's going to be how to join. Okay, we'll get there. Protecting satellites, humanitarian and military ops, facilitating launches. Very cool. And again, we've got. Oh, that's the house with the music too. See, this is even better music. You can facilitate launches. Now, here's the thing. I don't know how to get back. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page because there was more to it. If you start playing with the buttons, it takes you away from some of this main stuff. Oh, and this is cool. Initializing capabilities. I guess I'm just having too much fun with this site. This one does take a little while, though. Incoming signal. All right, so. Oh, wait. I thought there was more to this page. Maybe that's it. Playing with the scroll to explore. Oh, protecting satellites. How do we skip to? Protecting satellites, perform military and humanitarian ops, facilitating launches. All right, so those are the three pieces. Ooh, what happens if GPS goes dark? You could spend days in here and still not see everything, I'm sure. First thing I'm going to do is try and knock out the GPS in order to blindness. Yeah. So that's what that's their deal, to protect us. Yep. They took over this part, those space junk, satellites and space junk. Oh, there it is. Interesting. So, yeah, lots and lots to look at in here. And you can see the bar down at the bottom, kind of like SpaceX. Yep, cyberspace. And they just keep going. The intent was to consolidate and increase our operational capability. And I think there's just a little bit more. Oh, new ways to... Is that a thing you can use? Huh. Space cockpit. See, I didn't even play with this. Yep, looks like you can actually, like, fly something. I don't know. Go here and tell me. Go play with this and tell me. Because I'm doing a show right now. All right, so how to join.
You don't have time to play around like you've been playing around?
No. I'm trying to show off the site. All right, how to join. If you are enlisted, if you want to be enlisted, 3 ways to join. Enlisted, officer, civilian. They're down here. And if you want to enlist, you need to be 17 to 42 years of age, a U.S. citizen, have a high school diploma or GED with 15 college credits or GED. You can apply through an Air Force recruiter via telephone, your local recruitment office, or the website. Right here, you can apply right here. Once you're confirmed to meet all qualifications, you'll work with a recruiter to be processed into testing. And then they will find out your capabilities. For critical areas, arithmetic, reasoning, mathematics knowledge, working knowledge, and paragraph comprehension. These determine your strengths and your ability to withstand the demands of service and aptitude for specific career areas. And then they'll screen you. You're assessed on moral and physical standards as set by the Space Force, federal law, and the Department of Defense. Then you're paired with a counselor to provide placement options, most of which work with our ground stations based on your strengths, needs, and qualifications. And then you get trained. You're placed in a delayed entry program. That's my daughter was actually in that with the Navy. I think she was just slightly too young to sign up. I think we have a comment. The aliens will be worried now. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could totally see that being part of their purview. So yeah, delayed entry program where you'll await selection and departure for basic military training. And I don't know if this is going to be like basic for the other branches or not. So this is that video.
It'll probably be like basic for the Air Force.
This video shows up on all of them. I don't think it really tells you what it says it does. So I'm not going to play it for you. So if you want to play it, space4.com, browser on, you will find it. And look how slick that is. Your little play button is floating around with you. Become an enlisted guardian.
If you had to chase it rather than it chasing you.
Ready to protect our everyday lives with a career in the space domain? We can't wait to see what you do. Apply. You can apply right here if you are 17 to 42. All right, what else is here? I think that's it. So if you are thinking more along the lines of being an officer, they do have parameters for that too. There are multiple ways to become an officer. The Air Force Academy, your Reserve Officer Training, that's ROTC, and Officer Training School. Depending on your goals, education, and experience, the best option for you to join may vary. Pre-qualified. General requirements to become a USSF officer include U.S. citizenship, a passing health exam, and a clean background investigation. Education requirements vary based on your program of interest. Upon meeting basic requirements, you may submit your application via your chain of command, local recruiter, ROTC detachment, in the Air Force Academy, or online. Another test, the Air Force Officer Qualifying Test, AFOQT for short, assesses you on verbal, math, and other specific skill sets. This test can only be taken twice, so make sure you are ready for that. Selection board screening includes the summary of your medical examinations, AFOQ. I don't know what they're going to say. What do you think they would say for that one, Jeff? I clicked on it, so the music starts. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I looked at it and said a foot, but I'm pretty sure that that's not what they would do.
Okay. Yes, there's several factors. If you're actively enlisted in the Air Force or Space Force, you must obtain an AF Form 422 confirming your prior testing that you're medically fit, along with an eligibility statement. Once you have met all application requirements, your package is submitted to the Officer Selection Board to determine selection or non-selection.
Oh, there's another way of pronouncing that, but that's even worse.
Yeah. If selected, you will be assigned to the next class start date to begin your journey in the USSF as a commissioned officer. For more information, contact your local recruiter or apply online. Again, you can apply online. Become an officer right there. How cool is that? All right. So this is the civilian part. Now, when I talked to Captain Lockett this morning, I asked specifically, I asked two things. I asked her if regular folks could either volunteer or work for the Space Force. And she said, yeah, there are some volunteer positions, but this is the place I think where you're going to apply to have a job, to become a civilian contractor, I guess it would be, with the Space Force, right? Yeah. And I asked her also about getting a guest. And I figured, well, since they're having their 5th anniversary later in the year, wouldn't it be nice to have someone actually come and talk to us? And yeah, we'll see what happens there. I have invited someone, and stay tuned. We'll let you know when that happens, if that happens. All right, you're going to apply again. Apply through the Air Force Civilian Service site. Now, let's see. That looks like it's a link, and I didn't go there before. Let me go ahead. The music started. I love it. And upon review, a Space Force civilian recruiter will reach out to you when we find a match, for your experience and expertise. So this is going to be a little different. They're going to talk to you about like what you can do and where they have a place for you to do it.
It's more like a job board where you you apply, and if they have a job for you, they'll.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're more likely to keep your resume,
Mm.
and look for a match than some of the other websites, which tend to forget it within 3 weeks.
Oh, well, I'm not sure about that, but I do like the job board concept, because it sounds like that's what's going to be to do this. And I don't know about the volunteer position, so maybe we'll delve into that at some point and report back to you. You'll be invited for a virtual interview, so that's nice. You don't have to go anywhere, where you'll answer questions regarding your interests and qualifications. I guess a lot of interviews are being done virtually now, right?
Yeah.
So the onboard, once selected, you'll be onboarded based on your qualifications and desired position. Ready? Go ahead and apply. So those are the main ways that you can become involved. Let's see what this one gave us. Find your next job in your inbox. Subscribe for AFCS, automatic job announcement, email notifications, and your next job might just find you.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe your purpose on this planet isn't on this planet. So far, everything's on this planet. Yeah, I don't know too much about this because I just opened it up for you. But it looks pretty cool. Do they have a definition for this?
Oh, that's bad.
Which part? Air Force Civilian Service.
No.
There it is.
Well, they had a video that wasn't viewable.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I see. This video is private. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a broken link, but.
Yeah. So don't put it on there. That's the.
Yeah. All right. What else do we have here? What else did I put up? Civilian Guardians. Civilians and the Space Force work side by side to keep our nation and its operations in space secure. Oh, and they actually talk about some career fields, space operations. I think a lot of it's going to be space operations for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we got this nifty slick. Oh, there's the music. Science and engineering, developmental engineering, and I think that's it. So 3 main areas. If that's you, I would say check it out. Try to apply.
Mm-hmm.
Serve as a civilian. Apply, interview, on board. We kind of covered those. Competitive salary, insurance, retirement. And when I saw this, I got the idea that it wasn't something you could just do, kind of like the projects, the civilian citizen science projects. It's kind of going to be more like a job.
Mm-hmm.
And the volunteer things, we might learn something more about that. And if we do, we'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have gig work either.
No.
Just too much goes into vetting someone to be part of this for them to
That makes
not want them
sense.
full time.
That makes sense. If you're interested in learning more, look at these opportunities. Oh, that's okay.
Hit the wrong button.
That's okay. And it just says view openings here. So what else do I have? Was that it? Let's see. Oh, and I thought this was kind of neat because this is some actual civilian guardians. These are like the first 2 people who went through their program. This is an article about them, and this is actually pretty recently, July 18th, 2024. Let's see. They got the folks' names here. Mallory Avila and Ammon Zamani. Both acquisition logistics management specialists with the with the Space Force's Space Systems Command. Graduated in June from the 3-week training program held at the United States Air Force Academy. And I think that's in Colorado. Yeah, Colorado Springs. Azimuth is designed to immerse top performers in the broad range of aerospace missions conducted across military services. Includes a wide range of aerospace training, including for those whose career may one day include supporting human space flight, conducting experiments in micro and zero gravity by way of parabolic flight. So they got to ride the vomit comet. And we can see that's 0G. 0G. Most fun I ever had. And let's see. The other one said, what did she say? It was like the real thing. That's cool.
It would be argued that those helicopters and fighter jets are the real thing.
Yeah. Well, who knows what the 3 weeks entailed. I mean, how much can you really squish into 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
It probably was pretty intensive.
Yep.
But here's the first couple of people that went through this Azimuth training program.
Yep, and there's someone setting up an antenna.
Yep. So I thought this was kind of neat because there's some actual real people that you can relate to. All right, so what's this? Oh, and they do have a contact us form. I recommend if you want to call these phone numbers, you do it early in the day, Eastern time.
Yeah.
Because I kept calling like afternoon here in California, and I kept getting a message that says, nope, you can't leave a message on this number for both of these numbers. So I called really early, like, was that this morning?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
really early.
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
That's really early.
Yeah, well, for us. All right, so yeah, if you want to get a hold of them, the contact form didn't really work for me. I would call.
Yep.
And you want to do it, with keeping in mind Eastern time zone.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. This was kind of interesting because they're really running into this issue of they have to keep up with things, and they have, the idea of working with the private sector means that they can iterate faster. And they actually have it here. So that's pretty recent, June 28th, 2024.
Well, because, if they had to build everything themselves, they'd always be behind.
Yep.
So, by farming some of that out to people who are already doing it, they can jumpstart that. I'm pretty sure that they plan on backfilling later, but, they need to keep adding things that are current or going to be rather than things that were.
So this is the Chief of Space Operations, General Chance Saltzman. So they have a nice picture of him. Space News does. Let's see. Yeah. At the Space Symposium earlier this spring, a single question was on the minds of many. As space becomes an increasingly adversarial domain, what will move faster, our technology or the threat? So that's the question. And so this is the idea of working with the private sector to help this branch of the military to stay current.
Yeah, and from the cybersecurity aspect of it, that the threat always evolves faster because there's more bad guys than good guys.
Yeah.
And
it is a little slanted because this person is writing from his own organization standpoint, and I think he's involved with this. And I tried to look this up. I haven't gotten very far with it yet. So we must also find new pathways to ensure that capabilities are fielded in some cases with more creative contracting methods than a program of records of ecosystems, on and on. I think it's not a very long article. I think it's a good article to learn from. Yeah, here it is. And I'm not going to really delve into it. So definitely look up Space News. And I think it was just a search. It came up in a search for Space Force. So pretty easy to find. And of course, we have the show. Now, I know a lot of people did not like this show. They thought it was too goofy. I watched all of it. I loved all of it. That's kind of my personality. I'm just a groupie, right? Not just a groupie. Groupies are important. However, there were some very good parts of almost every single episode in both seasons. And you sit there and go, whoa, okay, that's important and interesting and makes a lot of sense. So there were some really, really good parts of that. I would say if you don't mind the little bit goofy, and for me, it was great. It was entertaining. To me, it's just a show. I'm not a critic. I don't care that much about.
I couldn't watch.
No, I know. For me, it was good fun, and so I watched it. And so, I got a screenshot. There's just some really interesting parts of it that I thought, and of course, here it is on. Oops, nope, Netflix. It's lost now. They go away after a while, and I think that's my cue to go ahead and turn it over to you, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, you want the notes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing. One of the most surprising, interesting, maybe both things about this was how long it's been in the works. I really had no idea that this has been involved for so long. And we finally have Space Force, and I think it's definitely important and something we really, really need. We really, really want to know what the heck is going on in, from, and to space.
Yep. So some stellar events this week, August 2nd through August 9th. And remember to visit skymaps.com for the new 2-page PDF It's free every month.
Yep, that's wonderful. Oh, and because it is the beginning of the month, I have my Farmer's Almanac. I'm going to go ahead and read the brief synopsis.
Oh,
You got a comment?
Cliff, so it's not too goofy.
Okay. All right, so for August, the Skywatch is on the 1st between 4:30 and 5 a.m. Look for a lovely triangle in the east composed of Jupiter to the lower left, the orange Taurus star Aldebaran to the lower right, and Mars at the upper apex. All to the right of the crescent moon. From the 1st through the 13th, Mars and Jupiter draw closer together in the pre-dawn sky. From the 13th to the 16th, the two planets are wonderfully close, creating a glorious conjunction. On the 11th and 12th, the Perseid meteor shower, we got another meteor shower coming, is not affected by the moon. We forgot to say that about the last one, which the moon sets before midnight, just as the most intense meteors appear. On the 27th, look for the crescent moon to the upper left of the dazzling Jupiter in the east, especially between 4:30 and 5:30 a.m.
Okay.
Here's your month.
Jamie says, thanks for all the research and shares. Yeah. And you're very welcome, Jamie.
And we're so glad you're here.
Okay. The current Globe at Night project ends this week. The project runs for 10 days from July 26th through August 4th. Look for Hercules or Cygnus in the northern hemisphere, or Scorpius in the southern hemisphere. You look at the sky, report it on the app or the website, and this helps helps them update the dark sky map as lighting conditions change in various locations.
Yeah, with any luck, it'll get better at some point. Because some places actually have ordinance about running lights. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yep. August 3rd, Mars is 4.9 degrees north of Aldebaran. August 4th is the new moon, and Mercury appears stationary. I always say Mercury is stationary.
You can't write on it either.
Yeah. It was my joke.
I stole it. Go ahead. Next part.
Also, Venus is 1 degree north of Regulus. August 5th, Mercury and the moon are in conjunction, and Venus and the moon are in conjunction. And Venus is 1.7 degrees south of the moon. August 6th, Mercury and Venus are in conjunction. And
that's got to be in the western.
Yeah.
By the setting sun.
Yeah. August 8th, the moon is on the equator, at descending node, and at apogee. August 9th is a Friday night show, and I found a bunch of stuff in the news, so I'm going to do another space news roundup
periodically, because there's a lot of it out there. But
yeah,
it's also good for us to do too.
Something catches my eye, and find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel.
So what inspires you the most for the coming week? Let me set this up. I do have some other activities and events to share with you. Not a huge list this time, but go ahead. I got a couple of emails, and here's one. And I got the timely ones first, so this is going to be like tomorrow or the next day. And must be Northrop Grumman is NG1 here. SpaceX is targeting Saturday, August 3rd for Falcon 9's launch of Northrop Grumman's 21st Cygnus mission, NG-21, to the International Space Station from Space Launch Complex 40, that's Slick 40, at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The instantaneous launch is 11:29 a.m. Eastern Time. So it's not going to be great, but if you're anywhere in that area, you want to go ahead and look for that. The backup date is August the 4th, the very next day. All right. So the other thing that's sort of timely, the summer 2024 season of NASA's Astrophoto Challenge ends August the 5th. Your target is Cassiopeia A. And I think I'm going to start looking for these a little earlier because this is kind of late. Sorry about that. But the email just arrived like today. Yeah, Friday, August 2nd. And then we've got this, and we showed you this before, grant funding. It is going to end soon, though, for this Space Grants Consortium funding for Plant the Moon Challenge. it goes to August 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to take a look at that one if plantthemoon.com is something of interest to you. Then this other one, and thanks to a previous guest of ours, I got his name in my head, but I can't say it. All right. He was at ISDC, and he spoke about space elevator.
Oh, yes.
Is it Jerry? You saw him. You remember. Anyway, the International Space Elevator Consortium Conference 2024 is going to be Saturday, September 7th through Sunday, 8th, September 8th. And where is it going to be? Sorry, I just got this today. It's an in-person event, no live online access.
But they're not telling us where it is.
Got the price. Oh, Millennium Park. Fairmont Millennium Park. The heck is it? All right, I'll leave this. Chicago? Okay. All right. So if you are interested, oh, wow, that's a really long page too. If you are interested in the International Space Elevator Consortium Conference, go ahead and check that out. isec.org. Let's see. There's a World Space Business Week, September 16th through 20th in Paris. The Westin Paris, London.
Well, we'll see what they do to this one.
And then ISTC is going to be next year, June 19th through 22nd in 2025. All right, and then I think, I really like this book. I got to get this. 52 Women Who Changed Science in the World. We talked about one of those people in there, and it's a good list for other people. Mm-hmm. Then there's the, Think Like a Girl, a coloring book of women pioneers in STEM. And this was sent to me by email. I don't know what this is doing, but you can actually send your DNA to space or your name for free. Name to the moon, there it is. Then if you want to send your DNA, there will be a charge for that one. And I actually know this guy. I've asked him to be on the show. Maybe he will someday.
Who is?
Yeah, it's Joel, I think, something.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you can go space. At least your DNA can. Or your name. Feel connected to your loved ones forever. I kind of thought this was a cool concept because you could actually put everybody into this. What do they call it? It's a type of artificial amber. Order. Register for a moon mission for yourself. Give us a gift. Send your pet. Or go together as a family. Get the ticket and the mission patch. Collect your DNA. It's a saliva swab, so you don't have to pull your hair. Here it is. It gets preserved in synthetic amber. And it goes in a time capsule along with the genetic codes of fellow travelers and Earth's diverse plant and animal species. And then it goes to space. And they've actually done 2 of these already. This one's going to be landing on the moon. Live stream the lunar lander, the Firefly Blue Ghost lander containing the capsule, and your DNA will stay on the surface forever.
Oh, good. It's not like the low Earth orbit launches
that'll come back to Earth.
Auger back in, yeah.
So by now, if you want to send your DNA, It looks like your name can go for free. I did not delve into that. Is it back up here? Yeah, here we go. So send your name. Let's quick look at this. Send your name to the moon. Sending a record of humanity to the moon. You're invited to add your name and story to this record, including a summary of who you are and why you are. Okay. Sign up here to create your star record and be etched into the LifeShip capsule that will live on into the far future. Okay. I think we should do this. All right. So that is lifeship.com. And we've seen this before, My Face in Space. And this one is for the Polaris Dawn crew. They're going to support, it's down here somewhere. Yep, you could be a big part of the big picture or part of a little picture. The collage or the grid. They do want money for this one because I don't know how much of the proceeds are going to, yeah, I remember what it is. It's the same place they did for the, here it is, St. Jude's. St. Jude's. And we have some information about Polaris. I think that's one of the pages that opens. I should set these up. Sorry. Polaris Dawn about the mission. So did this. Has it launched yet? I don't think it's launched yet, has it?
Don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. And is that it? Nope. I think I got a little bit more. Oh, I've talked to you before about Space Calendar. Always useful. stargazing at Joshua Tree. I think that's going to do it for tonight.
Okay.
Because we've seen some of these over and over again.
Yep.
So
we'll come back to us. And Daniel says DNA won't survive well with all the space radiation. Yep.
Interesting. I wonder about in this synthetic amber, though.
No, it won't block the radiation.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a gimmick, but hey, it could be a fun gimmick.
Yeah, last I knew he was charging $99 for it.
Yeah.
I didn't see what. Oh, thank you, Dawn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like putting your name on a star. You're buying a star. Thing is that doesn't go into any of the international registries, so it doesn't,
I think that sending your name and your story might actually be a little bit more, I don't know, useful, interesting.
Yep.
Longevity.
Yep.
Yeah, if your DNA doesn't survive with the cause radiation. Oh, here we go. Daniel says they can revive a mutant version of yourself one day. Yay!
Yeah.
I will not care.
Gamma world on the moon. So if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, August 9th. There are some interesting science developments in solar panels, black holes, heavy elements, nuclear reactors, and rare earths.
Spin the dial, see what you get.
I'll talk about some of these or something else that might sound more interesting because I want to pick things that are at least space related. And most of these are in some shape or form. There's also, theoretical work on a slower than light speed warp drive.
Oh, I hadn't heard.
Yeah, it's still just paper. They haven't made anything that even
no
comes
cartoons.
Close to, well, yeah, but they haven't made anything that even is like proof of concept or anything.
Got it. And let me clarify about the cartoons. When I worked at Boeing, if you had drawings but nothing else, we called them cartoons. So a little bit derogatory, but it was
the PowerPoint. Yeah, it's the PowerPoint.
And we have, I see at least 3 more.
Oh, Cliff.
Nope. Well, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no, he said
I'm sorry. I thought that was new.
And then have a good week.
Thank you. You too, Cliff.
Yeah, and he was commenting on Daniel's.
We're all mutants. We have mitochondria.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else from you?
Nope.
We'll watch for your comments going forward still.
Yep.
We always do. And folks, have a really great week.
Yep.
We'll see you next Friday.
Good night.
Good night.